These healthy people are, number one, probably most significantly, they are independent of the good opinion of other people. They do not do what they do based upon how other people are going to react to them. Now remember, as we look at the ego, and what it says is one of the components of the ego is I am what other people think of me. I am my reputation. And how many of us are raised and are raising our children, are seeing our children being raised in a world in which peer group approval, you hear it all the time. Peer group approval. I do it because there's so much peer pressure on me. You know, I have to fit in. Self-actualizing people have no sense of that in their life. It's just not anything that they even consider. And it's not just in those ways. They don't even notice appearances. They don't notice, one of the other qualities of these self-actualizing people is that they see the unfolding of God in everything and everyone that they encounter. Just like they see past appearances, but they don't just say it. It isn't like, this isn't just a talking game. This is something that they absolutely feel. It's like, these are people who see the unfolding of God in everything and everyone they encounter. And they just simply don't notice. They are detached from outcome. That is, they do not do what they do in their life because of some outcome that may come their way. He said, they are growth motivated, not deficiency motivated. There's a very big distinction between being growth motivated and deficiency motivated. A deficiency motivated person is motivated on a basis of repairing what is wrong with them and fixing it. A growth motivated person is saying, wherever I am is perfect and I can go so much further, but I have nothing to put down. I have no deficiencies. This is where I am. It's summed up in this simple little bumper sticker. You don't have to be sick to get better. You don't have to be sick to get better. So, these are people, he said, who must be what they can be. They must be what they can be. Now, this isn't that they must be what somebody else thinks that they can be. This isn't somebody who must be fitting into something else, because another quality and characteristics of these people is that they are resistant to enculturation. These are people who do not identify themselves on the basis of a culture, their culture. They see themselves as a global being connected to all of humanity. And they do not run their life on the basis of the Tao. It wasn't until I read the Tao, and I don't mean just read the Tao Te Ching, but studied it and lived it for that full year when I turned 65, that I understood that virtually everything that Lao Tzu was writing about is what Maslow was speaking about with these people. That they don't, Lao Tzu had contempt for the law and laws. He said that people who run their life on the basis of what the law says are not Tao-centered people. Doing things because it's written down someplace for self-actualizing people is an impossibility. And one of the most significant things that self-actualizing people do is that they never place into their imagination anything that they do not want to materialize and manifest. They never put into their imagination their thoughts about what is possible or not possible on the basis of what they have been told ought to be in their imagination. This whole idea of understanding that our imagination is our sacred place, it's a sacred spot within us. And so we don't want to put anything in there like I'm only able to do what I've always done, or I'm only able to imagine what other people have conditioned me to believe that I can do. What's already happened. I don't place into my imagination anything that someone else has imposed upon me, like Ivan Illich. They place into their imagination, into their thoughts, that which they already believe is here for them, and they're just reconnecting to it. They're greatly familiar with and loving the unknown. Wandering into the unknown, the mysterious is the most exciting thing for them. To me, said Walt Whitman, the most glorious thing in the universe is the most mysterious. And they're not looking for security. They're not looking for doing things the way everybody else does things. They have a sense of awe. Rumi said, sell your cleverness and purchase bewilderment. Go through life being bewildered. And that's how these people live their lives. It's like this sense of awe at everything. And when they would see something new, they saw something, even if they'd seen it 1,000 times before, they saw it like a little child saw it. In fact, self-actualizing people are very close to little children.
In the quiet moments between your breaths, there exists a stillness, a peace so profound it speaks directly to your soul. It's there, beneath the noise of the world, beneath the thoughts that swirl like leaves caught in a storm. It's in that space, that sacred moment, where everything you've ever sought is already present. You just need to breathe, to release, and to realign. You've spent so much of your life chasing approval, chasing success, chasing a sense of fulfillment that always seemed just beyond reach. You've carried burdens that weren't yours to carry. You've held on to old stories, old wounds, old beliefs about who you are. But I ask you, my friend, who are you really? Beneath the layers of conditioning, beneath the masks you've worn, beneath the roles you've played, who are you in your truest essence? The answer is simple. You are. You are the breath of life itself. You are a divine being, not confined by the limitations of the ego. The truth of who you are is vast, limitless, and timeless. It's not bound by the past, nor does it seek the future. It simply is. In the present moment, you are the eternal now. But somewhere along the way, you forgot. You forgot that you are enough. You forgot that everything you need to be whole is already inside of you. And so you looked outside yourself for answers. You searched for meaning in achievements, in possessions, in the opinions of others, but you have always been complete, even in your moments of struggle, even in your deepest pain. What if I told you that healing begins the moment you release the illusion of separation, the moment you stop identifying with the wounds of your past and instead choose to embrace the truth that you are not your pain. You are not your story. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are so much more than all of that. When you breathe, you are aligning yourself with the divine rhythm of the universe. Every inhale connects you to the life force that flows through all things. Every exhale is an opportunity to release what no longer serves you, to release the weight of regret, to release the fear of the unknown, to release the judgments you've placed upon yourself and others. In each breath, there is an invitation to surrender. Surrender is not weakness, it is strength. It is the strength to let go of the illusion of control and trust in the flow of life. Life does not need to be forced. It does not need to be controlled. It is a river, constantly moving, constantly changing, constantly evolving. The more you resist the flow, the more you suffer. But when you surrender, when you let go of the need to control, of the need to define, of the need to hold on you, find peace, you realign with the wisdom of the universe. You see, the universe is always speaking to you. It is always guiding you. It whispers to you through the stillness of your heart, through the synchronicities in your life, through the quiet nudges that lead you to the next step on your journey. But in order to hear this guidance, you must first quiet the noise within. You must release the clutter of your thoughts, the distractions of your ego, and realign yourself with your higher truth. When you realign, you remember who you truly are. You remember your power. You remember your purpose. You remember that you are a divine being capable of creating miracles in your life. You remember that you are worthy of love, of abundance, of joy, simply because you exist. You are not defined by your past, by your mistakes, or by the opinions of others. You are defined by the love that flows through you, by the light that shines from within you. But the first step to realignment is letting go. Letting go of the beliefs that tell you that you are not enough. Letting go of the fear that keeps you stuck. Letting go of the anger, the resentment, the pain that you've been holding on to. You don't need to carry that anymore. You are not meant to walk through this life weighed down by the past. You are meant to soar, breathe, release, realign. This is the mantra of your soul. This is the rhythm that will guide you home to yourself. You cannot change the past, but you can choose to release its grip on you. You cannot control the future, but you can choose to trust in the unfolding of your life. You cannot change the world overnight, but you can change your world by choosing to align with the truth of who you are. And when you align with that truth, everything begins to shift. Your relationships change, your health improves, your sense of purpose deepens. You begin to attract the opportunities, the people, and the circumstances that are in harmony with your highest good. You begin to live from a place of peace, of love, of joy, not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer defined by external circumstances. You are defined by your inner peace. You are defined by your ability to breathe through life's challenges, to release what no longer serves you, and to realign with the infinite power that flows through you. This is the true power of surrender. It is not about giving up. It is about giving in to the flow of life. It is about trusting that you are always supported, always guided, always loved. When you release the need for perfection, you open yourself to the beauty of imperfection. When you release the need for approval, you step into your own self-approval. When you release the need for control, you find true freedom. Freedom is not something that can be given to you by someone else. It is something you must claim for yourself. It is the freedom to be yourself, to follow your heart, to live your truth. It is the freedom to let go of the stories that no longer serve you and to embrace the story that is unfolding right now. It is the freedom to live in the present moment, to be fully alive, fully awake, and fully in tune with your soul. Breathe, release, realign. Let these words be a reminder of who you are. Let them be a reminder that you have the power to transform your life at any moment. Let them be a reminder that the key to peace, to joy, to abundance, and to freedom lies not in the world around you, but within you. The moment you choose to realign with your truth, the moment you choose to release the illusions of the ego, the moment you choose to breathe deeply into the present moment, everything changes. You are not a victim of life. You are the creator of your experience. The circumstances of your life do not define you. Your response to those circumstances does. You are the architect of your own reality, and when you breathe, when you release, when you realign, you unlock the door to infinite possibilities. So I invite you now, in this very moment, to take a deep breath, to feel the life force that flows through you, to release the burdens that you've been carrying, to realign with the truth of who you are. You are a divine being, worthy of all the love, all the peace, all the joy that life has to offer. You are enough, just as you are. And as you realign with this truth, know that everything you need to live a life of fulfillment, of purpose, of abundancy already within you. Trust yourself. Trust the process. Trust the wisdom of your soul. Breathe, release, realign, and know that you are home. And in this moment of stillness, when you surrender to the present, something extraordinary happens. You begin to feel the subtle rhythm of life, the beat of the universe that is always pulsating beneath your surface. You are not separate from this rhythm, you are part of it. Just as the ocean waves rise and fall, as the sun sets and rises, you too are part of this eternal flow. You were never meant to fight against it. You were meant to dance with it, to move in harmony with the ever-changing tides of existence. But the ego has a different idea. It whispers that you need more, that you must be somewhere else, that you must achieve, accumulate, become. It teaches you that the present moment is something to be outrun, something to be escaped. And in this escape, you lose touch with the life that is unfolding right before you. The truth is, the present moment is your sanctuary. It is the doorway to your soul. It is where you will find everything you are seeking. When you surrender to the now, you stop judging the moment as incomplete. You stop telling yourself that you will be happy when you have this, when you reach that, when the future arrives. No. You realize that peace is not found in the arrival, but in the journey. The future is not a destination, it is a projection. It is something your mind creates, and yet it does not exist until you bring it into being through your thoughts. It is fleeting, always ahead, and yet never quite here. The future will always be the thing you are moving toward, but when you come into the present, you realize you were already there all along. And in that realization, the grip of time loosens. You are no longer a prisoner of your past, nor are you enslaved by the endless pursuit of some far-off tomorrow. You stand in the truth that the only time that truly exists is this moment, this breath, this heartbeat. And within this moment, there is everything, every answer, every opportunity, every experience that you will ever need. You are not lacking. You never were. You are whole. You are complete. Right now, imagine if you could live your life as though every moment matters, not because of what it leads to, but because of what it is. Imagine if you could embrace each experience, not as a stepping stone to something better, but as a divine expression of life itself. When you do this, life begins to transform. What you see as a challenge becomes an invitation to grow. What you see as an obstacle becomes an opportunity to rise. You begin to trust in the perfection of each moment, and that trust becomes your guiding light. The ego will try to convince you that it's not enough, that something else is needed to complete you. But this is the lie that keeps you bound. In truth, there is nothing outside of you that can complete the divine being you are. The completion is already inside of you, waiting to be recognized. It is the peace that resides in your heart, the love that resides in your soul, the wisdom that resides in your essence. You are already whole, already enough. You were born into this completeness. The moment you realize this, you stop looking outside yourself for validation. You stop chasing, and you begin to simply be. To live in the now means to let go of the need to control. It means releasing the attachment to outcomes, to the need to dictate how life should unfold. When you release the need to control, you open yourself to the flow of divine guidance, to the flow of life itself. And as you do, the world around you begins to change. You no longer see it as something to conquer, but as something to experience. You begin to see yourself as the creator of your life, not the victim of circumstance. You see that you have the power in every single moment to choose how you respond to life. But it all begins with the choice to stop running. The moment you stop chasing, you are free. You are free from the tyranny of time, from the pressure of the future, from the chains of the past. You are free to be, to live, to experience life as it is meant to be experienced in its full, vibrant, expansive beauty. And in that freedom, you become the fullest expression of yourself. The future will come in its own time. The future will unfold as it is meant to, and you will be ready for it when it arrives. But you cannot chase it, because the act of chasing keeps you out of the present. It keeps you disconnected from the life you are meant to live right now. And so I ask you again, what would happen if you chose to live fully in this moment? What would happen if you stopped looking for something more and simply embraced what is? You would find peace. You would find joy. You would find fulfillment, not in what you have or have not done, but in the realization that you are already everything you need to be. Your life is unfolding in divine perfection, and the only thing that stands between you and the life you desire is your willingness to embrace the present. The only thing that keeps you from experiencing the fullness of life is your attachment to a future that is not yet here. When you release this attachment, you allow yourself to fully inhabit the now, and in the now, you will find everything you need. Life is not about arriving at a destination. It is about living fully in each moment. When you understand this, you will stop chasing a future that does not exist and start living a life that is already here. You will begin to see the divine in every moment, in every breath, in every experience. And in this, you will find that the life you've always dreamed of is not something that happens tomorrow. It is happening right now. You are whole. You are enough. You are complete. Right now, and in this moment, you are living your life in its fullest expression. The future will come, but it will only come when you stop chasing it. When you stop looking ahead and begin to look within, you will find that everything you've ever needed was already inside of you. Embrace the present, surrender to the now, and let the future unfold in its own time. You are already everything you are meant to be. Trust this truth, live it, and experience the miracle of life that is happening right now. There comes a quiet point in your life not marked by celebration or fanfare where something subtle and sacred dawns within you, the realization that you no longer need to chase your own existence. Not because your desires have died, but because you've finally seen through them. You've outgrown the illusion that meaning is hidden in the next moment. You begin to understand that life is not meant to be pursued like a finish line. It is meant to be absorbed like a sunrise moment by glowing moment in full reverence. Beneath every moment of striving, there has always been a deeper ache, not for achievement, but for arrival. And this arrival isn't about stepping into some perfected future. It's about returning to a place within yourself that was never lost, only buried beneath noise. This is not a return to who you were. It is a return to who you've always been before you were told you had to become anything more than present. When you allow yourself to drop beneath the surface of your expectations, you begin to feel what is real. Not the projections of a better tomorrow, but the raw aliveness of what is here now, unfiltered, unpromised, unchased. In that rawness, a new intimacy with life is born. Not the kind built on plans, but the kind built on presence. Life starts to touch you differently when you stop standing outside of it, waiting for it to begin. This stillness isn't passive, it's fiercely alive. It's not an absence of motion, but a deeper kind of movement, one that doesn't rush toward the future, but flows from within the heart. You begin to see that the most important things cannot be scheduled, cannot be achieved, cannot be planned. They arrive quietly, like grace. And grace, as you'll come to know, only ever appears when you are no longer trying to summon it. In this space, where your breath meets your awareness, time dissolves. You stop measuring your life by the markers of progress and begin experiencing it by the depth of your presence. And it's here, not in some distant goal where joy becomes effortless, not because anything outside has changed, but because you've stopped resisting what is, because you've surrendered the need to be elsewhere. The deeper truth is this: your life is not waiting for you in a future accomplishment. It's waiting for you to return to the sacredness of being without commentary, without comparison. It's waiting for you to notice what you've overlooked in your pursuit, the way your chest rises when you breathe, the way light spills across your skin, the way love has always spoken in silence. You don't need a reason to be at peace. You only need to stop bargaining with the moment you're in. The now doesn't demand anything from you, only your attention. And once you give it that, fully and without resistance, the world changes shape. Not because it becomes different, but because you begin to see clearly for the first time. What you thought was mundane begins to shimmer. What you thought was missing begins to emerge. There's a wisdom in this slowing down that transcends intellect. It's the wisdom of listening, not with your ears, but with your whole being. Listening to what life has been trying to say beneath your plans, that it was never the destination that mattered, but the presence you bring to the path itself. That it was never about what you could build, but how deeply you could belong right here without delay. So let yourself land, not in the future you've been taught to idolize, but in the sacred fullness of where your feet already touch the earth. Let this moment be enough, not because you've stopped dreaming, but because you've remembered how to live. Let the soft, luminous truth of your being unfold, not as a product of striving, but as a natural expression of presence. This is not the end of the journey. It's the beginning of your true arrival. And so, as you return home to this moment, to the rhythm of your breath, to the gentle quiet that exists beneath the noise of becoming, you begin to feel the soft unraveling of all the pressure you once carried. The pressure to be somewhere else, someone else. The pressure to catch up with a life that was never ahead of you to begin with. All of it begins to melt in the presence of your awareness. Because truth, when finally remembered, doesn't demand that you strive. It invites you to surrender. Let it all soften now, the tension in your shoulders, the expectation in your mind, the anxious pull toward what's next. Let it all fall away like old skin that no longer fits the soul you're becoming. You've tried the chase, you've run after the horizon, and found that it only moved farther away. Now you know your peace was never there. Your joy was never there. It was always here, breathing quietly inside you, waiting to be let in. And perhaps the most courageous thing you can do with your life is not to keep running, but to stop, to look around and finally see what has always been with you. The laughter of your child, the glow of early morning light on your kitchen counter, the way your heart breaks open, not because of pain, but because it's finally full enough to feel it all. This is what was meant for you, not a performance, not perfection, presence. You were not born to outrun your life. You were born to enter it, to taste it, to feel it, to breathe it in so deeply that your soul remembers its reason for coming here. Not to accumulate, but to awaken. Not to prove your worth, but to embody it. Not to reach a distant summit, but to sit fully inside the sacredness of now. And the miracle is, you don't have to wait another second to begin. You only have to choose. Choose to be still. Choose to breathe. Choose to open your eyes, not with judgment, but with wonder. What you see now, this moment, unembellished and real, is the canvas upon which your life is being painted. The colors have always been in your hands. You were never meant to find meaning later. You were meant to create it now, with your presence, with your love, with your full attention. The future will come. It always does. But it will come differently when you are no longer desperate for it. It will arrive not as your salvation, but as a reflection of the peace you've already chosen within. Life will meet you not where you're going, but where you truly are. And when you are here, fully here, the future unfolds not in resistance, but in harmony, not in striving, but in grace. This is the quiet revolution of awakening. To live in a world obsessed with tomorrow, yet choose to rest inside today, to hold yourself with reverence, even when there is no applause. To stop editing your life into a version that pleases others and begin honoring the version that pleases your soul. Because the life you long for is not waiting somewhere ahead, it's waiting for your attention. And so now, return. Return to this moment with devotion. Return to your breath as if it were a prayer. Return to your inner stillness, not as an escape, but as a homecoming. Let yourself arrive without needing a reason. Let your heart unclench. Let your mind exhale. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not lost. You are here. And here is holy. Look at your life not as a project to be managed, but as a miracle to be felt. There is no final destination you must reach to be worthy. There is no gold medal for missing your own existence. The soul does not keep score, it only wants you to remember. To remember what it feels like to be alive without needing to be anywhere else. To remember that fulfillment is not hidden in time, but awakened in presence. And now you know. You know the secret the world forgot to teach you, that you do not need to chase your life. You only need to meet it. Meet it in the eyes of a stranger, in the quiet between your thoughts, in the whisper of your own heartbeat. This is where your real life lives, not someday, but today. Not elsewhere, but here. Not later, but now. Let your legacy be presence. Let your offering be attention. Let your life be a testament not to the places you've reached, but to the depth with which you truly lived. And when your time comes to leave this world, may you not regret the dreams you didn't chase, but celebrate the moments you did not miss. Don't miss your life chasing a future. Your soul is not in a hurry. Your peace is not in a plan. Your life is already happening. Be here for it. Now, in the stillness that remains, in the breath you just took, in the awareness that is expanding, even now you have arrived. You have not missed it, and you never will again. Welcome home. There comes a moment in every life where the soul begins to whisper louder than the world shouts. A moment when something in you beyond your mind, beyond your emotions, beyond even your history rises up and says, enough. No more dragging. No more clinging. No more pretending the weight of what was is what I am. That is the moment when you are called, not by circumstance, not by pain, but by spirit itself, to release, to surrender, and to trust the higher current of your being. Let go or be dragged. This is not a suggestion. It is not a cliche. It is not a convenient aphorism for a quiet evening on your yoga mat. It is a fundamental law of the soul's evolution. Life will teach you this, either through grace or through the friction of resistance. And you, dear soul, get to choose. The river does not apologize to the stone that refuses to move. It simply continues flowing, and the stone, stubborn in its place, finds itself eroded by its refusal to change. So too do we, when we cling to the past, to stories that no longer serve us, to identities that were never ours, and to wounds that no longer need to be carried. When we grip the pain, we become it. When we release it, we remember who we are. You were not born to be a prisoner of what has already happened. You were not created to drag the weight of old resentments through the gardens of your future. You are not here to be ruled by the illusions of ego or the bruises of memory. You are here to awaken, to liberate, to breathe into your own vastness and walk as the embodiment of love, peace, and truth. Let go or be dragged. And yet, I understand. Letting go is not always easy. The past often feels familiar even when it hurts. The ego clings to its grievances because they create identity. I am the one who was betrayed. I am the one who failed. I am the one they didn't love. But none of these are true. They are only masks worn by the soul when it forgets its origin. The truth is far simpler and infinitely more beautiful. You are not your wounds. You are not your story. You are not the echo of yesterday's thunder. You are the sky, and the sky does not hold on to storms. When you live in alignment with your soul, not your story, you stop needing explanations for everything that hurt you. You stop demanding closure from people who never had the capacity to understand your heart. You stop fighting the flow of life as if the river itself were your enemy. And you start remembering peace is not something you earn by fixing what went wrong. Peace is what returns the moment you stop trying to control what was never yours to control. To let go is to trust. To let go is to say, This is not who I am anymore. To let go is to stop asking the past to return and finally open your arms to the miracle of now. Now is all you ever truly possess. Now is where your healing waits patiently. Now is where the divine breathes in you. And yet, you may ask, how do I let go of what broke me? How do I release what defined me? How do I forgive what seems unforgivable? I will tell you, not through theory, but through truth. You let go not by erasing the past, but by refusing to carry it forward. You let go by becoming so radically present that the past cannot find space to survive in you. You let go by no longer making your pain your personality. You let go by understanding that forgiveness is not weakness. It is the strength of a soul that chooses freedom over bitterness. Every time you forgive, you untie the knot that keeps your spirit bound. Every time you release an old identity, you make space for your real self to emerge. And every time you surrender your grip on control, you align with the intelligence that orchestrates galaxies. And yes, that same intelligence breathes your lungs and beats your heart without you having to micromanage it. So why then do you insist on controlling what life has already asked you to release? Why, dear soul, do you keep dragging the chain when the lock was opened long ago? You are not here to repeat the same patterns under different disguises. You are not here to keep recreating the suffering that your soul came here to transcend. You are here to wake up, to rise up, and to become the unshakable peace beneath every storm. There is a sacred intelligence within you. It knows when it is time to let go of a person, a belief, an expectation, a guilt, a regret, a fear. And when you do not listen, life will speak louder. It will echo through your relationships. It will rumble in your nervous system. It will disturb your sleep, clutter your thoughts, and whisper through every closed door. Let go, let go, let go. Because it loves you too much to let you live small. Because it loves you too much to let you become addicted to your own suffering. Because it loves you enough to tear away everything false so only the truth remains. And what is the truth? You are already whole. You are already enough. You are not your trauma. You are the consciousness that witnessed it. You are not your failures. You are the soul that learned from them. You are not what they did to you. You are what you choose to become now. Let go or be dragged. This is not a threat from life. It is a call to liberation. It is not punishment. It is purification. It is not cruelty. It is compassion. Because the moment you let go, you become weightless. And what is weightlessness if not freedom? Stay with me here. Breathe. Inhale this truth into every cell of your being. You do not have to keep proving your worth to a world that does not understand the language of the soul. You do not have to keep performing an identity that pleases others but suffocates your spirit. You do not have to keep explaining your past not to them and not to yourself. You are allowed to let go. You are allowed to be new. You are allowed to walk away from what was and walk toward what calls your soul forward. The phoenix does not rise with ashes clinging to its wings. You too must burn what no longer belongs, not out of rage, but out of reverence. Reverence for your own becoming, reverence for the life waiting on the other side of your surrender. So again, I say it, let go or be dragged. You do not owe your suffering to anyone. You do not owe your pain an explanation. You do not have to keep feeding the memory of what broke you with your present energy. Because every time you relive what happened, you give it power. And every time you carry the story, you forget the silence beneath it. There is a deeper you, a silent, luminous, ever-present you, untouched by pain, beyond the narratives, free from the personality. It does not keep score. It does not hold grudges. It does not measure your worth by how much you've endured. It waits. It waits for you to remember that you were never the storm, only the witness to it. That you were never the identity, only the awareness behind it. That you were never the victim, only the soul. unfolding, learning, awakening. And when you finally release your grip on how it should have been, how they should have treated you, how life should have unfolded, a light begins to enter, not from outside, but from within, because that light was always there. It was just buried under the rubble of unprocessed emotion, stories you inherited and beliefs you never questioned. To let go is not to forget it, is to stop reliving. To let go is not to abandon, it is to return to presence. To let go is not to lose, it is to finally allow life to give. There are those who will tell you that letting go is weakness, but those who have truly surrendered know it is the fiercest strength, because it takes courage to stop carrying. It takes wisdom to know what no longer belongs, and it takes deep trust to release what the ego says is essential and discover that the soul had something better all along. Every ending you feared was your undoing became the seed of your awakening. Every loss you cursed in the night became the space where truth was born. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every disappointment carved into you a greater capacity to feel, to empathize, to rise. What if the things you are clinging to are the very things keeping you from your destiny? What if the person you refuse to release is the anchor preventing your wings from expanding? What if the pain you keep replaying is the wall that keeps joy out? And what if the moment you let go, everything you thought you lost finally returns in a higher form? There is a sacred rhythm to the universe, one that favors those who trust the unseen over the familiar, those who choose flow over force, presence over performance, faith over fear. The trees do not cling to their leaves in autumn because they trust spring will come. And you too must trust that your becoming cannot be stopped by a single season. Let go or be dragged. There is no arrival without surrender, no peace without release, no joy without the death of what blocks it. And so I ask you gently with no judgment, only love. What are you still dragging? What are you still fighting to keep alive that has already died? What emotion, what belief, what name, what label, what old wound still has its claws in your nervous system? You may say, but I can't just let it go. It's too deep. Then let it rise. Let it rise through your breath, your tears, your silence. Let it rise without judgment. Let it rise like incense into the sky of your awareness. And when it has been seen, when it has been felt, when it has been honored, then let it pass like every wave before it. You are not here to drown. You are here to remember that you are the ocean. And no wave, no matter how fierce, can destroy the depth of what you are. This is the great illusion of pain. It convinces you that it is permanent, that it defines you, that without it you are nothing. But the opposite is true. Without it you are free. Without it you are whole. Without it you are returned to your origin, divine, still, luminous, present. You were not created to be a container of old stories. You were born to be a vessel of light. And the more you let go, the more room you create for that light to shine through you into your relationships, your work, your thoughts, your presence. Letting go is not passive. It is not doing nothing. It is doing the most sacred work there is, allowing life to move through you without resistance. You cannot heal what you continue to cling to. You cannot evolve while defending your limitations. And you cannot be reborn while still holding funerals in your heart for what no longer exists. So breathe. Breathe as a radical act of surrender. Breathe as a declaration. I am not who I was. I am not what happened. I am not this pain. And breathe again as a return to the present moment, the only place where healing lives. Let go or be dragged. When you cling to something no longer meant for you, you are not protecting yourself, you are punishing yourself. When you revisit a wound again and again, it does not heal, it festers. When you repeat the same emotional patterns hoping for a different result, you are not loving, you are looping. And when you let it go, when you finally lay it down, not with resentment, but with reverence, something sacred occurs. You begin to remember who you were before the world taught you to forget. You begin to feel the joy that has no cause, the peace that surpasses understanding, the stillness beneath the story you begin to live. And that, my friend, is the ultimate liberation. You see, the world taught you to grip tightly, to hold on to identities, to memories, to achievements, to wounds. It said, define yourself by what happened, by what you've earned, by what you've endured. But the soul has no interest in your resume. The soul knows only essence. The soul says, you are light. You are presence. You are eternal. You are free. When you let go, you do not become less. You become more of what you truly are. The illusions fall away. The masks dissolve. And what remains is pure, unshakable being. Peace not found through achievement, but through allowance. A peace that arrives the moment you stop struggling to become and begin surrendering to what already is. The ego is always trying to acquire. The soul is always trying to remember. The ego says, you must prove your worth. The soul whispers, you were worthy before you were born. The ego clings. It fears loss. It identifies with separation. But the soul trusts. It knows nothing real can ever be lost, and nothing unreal was ever truly yours. That relationship you keep reliving in your mind, let it go. That conversation you replay in your head at 2 a.m., let it go. That version of yourself you think you need to be loved, let it go. You were never meant to carry the entire house of your past on your back. You were only meant to gather the lessons, the strength, the love, and leave the rubble behind. You are here to ascend, not upward, but inward, not into someone new, but into your original self. Before fear taught you to hide, before pain taught you to guard, before shame convinced you that you were broken. You are not broken. You are buried beneath layers of expectation, guilt, resentment, and stories that were never yours. And the spiritual work is not to fight those layers, but to release them, to see through them, to stop feeding them your attention, to realize, I am not this emotion, I am not this thought, I am not this story. I am awareness, and awareness cannot be dragged. Awareness simply watches as everything that is not it falls away. Let go or be dragged, because what you cling to becomes your weight, and what you release becomes your wings. Yes, it may feel frightening to let go. That is natural. The ego believes it must cling to survive, but the soul knows letting go is not death. It is resurrection. And every time you release something that is no longer meant for you, a person, a belief, an old identity, you are reborn into a deeper intimacy with truth. So stop asking the past to give you what it cannot. Stop seeking closure from those who are not capable of giving it. Stop waiting for apology, validation, or understanding to finally move forward. The key is not in their hands. It never was. It has always been in yours. When you finally decide, not hope, not wish, not beg, but decide that your peace matters more than your story, that your expansion matters more than your pain, that your freedom matters more than being right, the door opens. Not outside of you, but within. You see, letting go is a sacred initiation. It is how you cross from unconscious living into awakened being. It is how you stop orbiting your life from the outside and start inhabiting it fully from the center. It is how you return to presence. And presence is not some mystical place far away. It is here, it is now, it is you, when you stop dragging the past into the present and simply become the awareness that watches all things come and go. The truth is, you have already survived what tried to destroy you. Now, the only thing left is to let it leave your hands. Not because it didn't matter, but because your peace matters more. You don't let go to forget. You let go to live. You don't release the past to erase your humanity. You release it to reveal your divinity. Because every time you breathe into the now, every time you make space between the trigger and your reaction, every time you choose love instead of fear, stillness instead of chaos, surrender instead of control, you are returning to the center of your being. And that center cannot be shaken. That center does not drag. That center does not cling. That center knows I am, I always was, I always will be. Breathe. Just breathe. Let the breath be your guide home. The breath is always letting go. The exhale is proof. You do not cling to breath. You trust it will return. You trust that letting go is the rhythm of life itself. So why then do you resist the very process that sustains you? Let go or be dragged. You cannot hold your breath and be at peace. You cannot grip what's gone and be free. You cannot serve two masters, one rooted in fear, one rooted in truth. You must choose, and choosing means releasing, not once, not twice, but as a lifestyle. Release the judgment. Release the need to be understood. Release the imaginary audience in your mind. Release the idea that healing must look a certain way. Release the myth that letting go means weakness. It means wisdom. It means you have finally seen through the illusion. It means you have remembered who you are. And who are you? You are the sky, not the storm. You are the presence, not the pain. You are the stillness, not the story. You are the soul, not the scars. And the soul is not here to carry burdens, it is here to shine, to bless, to awaken, to love, even in the face of betrayal, to love, even after loss, to love, even with nothing certain, to love. Because love, real transcendent love, is not an emotion. It is your essence. And it asks nothing but that you make room for it to flow through you. But love cannot flow where resentment blocks the way. Peace cannot dwell where control grips tight. Freedom cannot live in a heart cluttered with what should have been. Let it go. Let it all go. The roles you thought you had to play. The people you thought you had to please. The timelines you thought you had to meet. Let them go. Not because you failed, but because you are being called higher. The soul does not settle. The soul does not bargain. The soul says, it's time. Step into your truth. Release what dims your light. Let go or be dragged. There comes a moment, always quiet, always still, when the soul stops screaming and simply waits. Not for answers, not for apology, not for justice, but for presence. For you to sit down with yourself and finally say, I no longer need this weight to know who I am. That is the moment you stop being the story and start being the awareness behind it. You cannot carry the pain of a lifetime and expect your wings to open. You cannot drink from the well of resentment and expect it to quench your thirst. You cannot drag your chains into the temple of peace and call it healing. Forgiveness is not something you give to others. Forgiveness is what you offer yourself when you finally realize, I deserve to be free. Forgiveness says, I no longer give this moment of my life to what happened then. Forgiveness says, I am not willing to poison my peace with the past. Forgiveness is not saying it was okay. Forgiveness is saying it no longer controls me. You were never meant to stay in survival mode. You were never meant to live in reaction. You were never meant to stay small just because life hurt you. You were meant to awaken, to rise, to expand, to say to every painful thing that ever touched you, you may have shaped me, but you do not define me. You may have scarred me, but I have turned the scar into a doorway. You may have broken my heart, but the cracks let the light pour through. This is the path of the soul, to let life shape you without hardening you, to let pain touch you without becoming bitter, to let go not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because the alternative is to stay trapped in a moment that no longer exists, to replay scenes in a movie that ended long ago, to live in resistance, in defense, in fear. And you were not born for that. You were born to walk free, not because nothing happened, but because you chose not to let what happened own you. Breathe again. Yes, you. Close your eyes for just a moment and breathe from your belly, from the deepest part of your being, not to forget, but to return. Return to the space that was never hurt. Return to the silence beneath the noise. Return to the truth you knew before you were taught to doubt it. I am whole. I am not what they did. I am not what I lost. I am not what I feared. I am what remains after all of that. You see, true letting go is not a single event. It is a sacred rhythm, a practice, a remembrance. Each day, each moment, you are offered the same choice. Hold on or trust. Cling or flow. Drag the old or dance with the now. And you will know the moment of decision, because it will not come with fireworks or a grand announcement. It will come quietly. In the middle of your day, in the middle of your breath, in the pause between thoughts, a gentle whisper. You don't need this anymore. You can lay this down. You are safe now. And when you listen, truly listen, everything begins to soften. The nervous system relaxes. The heart opens. The inner war ends. And peace, that eternal presence that was always within you, begins to rise. Not because something outside changed, but because you changed, you let go. You stopped fighting what was already over. You stopped waiting for the past to make sense. You stopped demanding that healing come with explanation. You just said, now is enough. I choose peace now. I choose freedom now. I choose to love now. And that's the moment the dragging ends. That's the moment the light rushes in. That's the moment you no longer need anything to be different in order to feel whole. Because you've remembered, letting go is not giving up. Letting go is giving in to grace, to God, to the unfolding. You are not falling apart. You are falling open. You are not losing yourself. You are finally shedding what you were never meant to carry. You are not being asked to abandon your past. You are being invited to reclaim your presence. The world around you may still try to convince you to cling, to stay bitter, to stay armored, to stay guarded, but the awakened soul knows nothing weighs more than what we refuse to release. So bless what was. Thank it for the lessons. Bow to it and let it return to dust. Because the truth is this: you are not here to be the keeper of pain. You are here to be the lighthouse, not despite the storm, but because you learned to rise through it. You are not here to collect scars. You are here to turn them into stars. You are not here to repeat the old story. You are here to write a new one, starting now. And the first line of that new story, I let go and I was free. So breathe. Breathe in forgiveness. Breathe out control. Breathe in light. Breathe out fear. Breathe in truth. Breathe out the need to be understood. Let go or be dragged. Let go and rise. Let go and return. Let go and become everything you were always meant to be. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now, right here, right now. Let this be the moment you come home to yourself. Let this be the moment the dragging ends. Let this be the moment peace begins. Because the weight was never who you were. Freedom is, and it always was.